Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Wednesday. It is Self-Care Wednesday and self-love lesson number 14. As again, for anyone that's not been on this week, we are shifting from last week. So next week we'll go back to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. All right, so I'm starting out with the self-care ritual deck, and then we'll jump right into lesson number 14. Alrighty, let's see what the self-care ritual deck has for us today. Let's see if anything pops out. If not, oops, there's something. Oops. And if not, we'll pick two more cards after one more shuffle. See how it goes, right? Ooh. Okay. Wow, there's a lot. All right, well, you know what? We'll just go through them all. Okay, so dun, 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 dun. Some of these popped out right side up, so I'm just gonna flip them over, shuffle them, and we'll get rolling. We'll get rolling. Let's see. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Self-care again. Self-care, sacred self-care ritual deck. So let's find out some ways for self-care. Health checkup. That seems to be number one, and we've gotten this on a different Wednesday a couple weeks ago. So if you are seeing this again and it is resonating with you and ringing about 10 bells, go get checked. Go get checked. I finally did. So I did my health checkup, and I was a good girl. I did my health checkup, and I'm back on everything I need to be back on, and everything seems to be running smoothly again. Drink tea. Now, I know this isn't everybody's thing, so, you know, if tea's not your thing, drink water, but tea can be very meditative, I suppose, but I love tea, and there's all different kinds of teas as well. You know, there's green tea, jasmine tea, there's the darker teas like the breakfast teas or the English teas or the Earl Greys, and, you know, put your creamer in it. I know this is probably like sacrilegious to those who have high tea, but I actually put some chocolate almond milk in when I have like the breakfast tea or the English tea. So, or maybe the English tea is a breakfast tea. I don't know, whatever. But there's all sorts, you know, so if you have a favorite flavor, I mean, right now I'm totally into the lemon ginger and cinnamon. So go tend your tea aisle. I am so sorry. I don't know what's happening here. So yeah, drink tea, and that could be really good self-care, especially for your digestive system, depending on what it is. Like the lemon ginger tea can be very good for your digestive system. Green tea, they make a jasmine green tea, which I find to be very soulfully cleansing, spiritually cleansing, the jasmine. And even if you're having upset, here's a fun fact. If you have an upset tummy, 9 times out of 10, spearmint or any kind of mint tea is going to help. So Tazo tea has a Zen tea, which is kind of that, and it works wonders. So burning bowl ritual. Here we go again. If you live anywhere near fire areas, be careful. I do not recommend this. Use water. But if you do and you need to do a burning ritual, please, 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 please use caution and be safe. Good morning, baby sibling. So, yeah, okay, or your barbecue or a grill or, you know, somewhere safe, okay? And if it's windy, stay indoors. Stay indoors. Don't even try to burn fire outside, all right? But the burning ritual can actually be a very effective ritual. Like I said, there are alternative ways, like pouring water on something or ripping it up to shreds and burying it somewhere in a dark. If it's something bad, you're trying to release it and bury it somewhere in a dark space. You know, like if there's like a shaded area in your yard, like something like that, okay? Like somewhere that people won't traipse over. So like a corner or, you know, all those things. And you can do the same after it's burned or after you've watered it down or melted it with water. But just be safe, okay? And it can be actually a release. Some people believe that you can write letters to loved ones who have passed and burn it, and the angels will take the letter up with the smoke or the ashes, you know. So create an altar. Now this is more metaphysically minded, but It doesn't have to be. Creating an altar, a lot of times we associate altar with religion, and in this respect, it kind of is pointing in that direction with Mother Earth, the goddess Mother Earth, um, in that picture depicted up in there. But for metaphysically minded people, it could just be like flowers or candles and their crystals. For people, maybe you miss somebody and you want to set like up a vigil or something. So altars have very, very, they're very unique to the individual. So, it's something for you to look up. It's something for you to check out if you want to. You can Google it and find all the different things that people use. I would probably say metaphysical, creative, creating altars, or even on Pinterest. Pinterest has a lot of different ideas as well. I'm sure you can find something there. So, again, altars aren't necessarily meant to be religious. They can be, but not necessarily. Okay, so there's that. All right, the next one, alone time. Alone time ain't bad. Alone time is not bad. This is actually funny because she looks like the symbol of Mother Goddess that I have on my purse. But, or maybe she's a mermaid. Is she standing on a rock, or is she a mermaid? Who knows? But, I mean, she has legs, so probably not. But hey, you know what? To each their own. But alone time isn't always bad. All right? It's time to process. It's a time to just kind of get out of your head and get into your just your soul and your heart and just your inner being. It's to get back to center, and alone time can sometimes help you with that. I know, I think what that alone time is really talking about is just more of a contemplation and a time that you're not so overwhelmed by all the chatter around you. Sometimes a lot of us have enough chatter going on in our head that you need some space, and that is okay. That is not a bad thing. It is not selfish. Self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. All right, repeat. Self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. Sound healing. We've had this one before too. You can find a billion of these on YouTube. You can buy them online if you look for them. But sound healing is very, very, a lot of people think it's like, oh, that's too woo-woo for me. But you know what? It can actually be very, very relaxing. It's their tones. And a lot of times there's chakra tones that, your chakras can feel it. It's like if you really kind of open yourself up to it and you sit there and you put one on, and you can look up different things. There's binaural beats, or you can put in sound healing, or you can put in crystal sound healing. And there is a very unique experience when you're listening to someone who is, for lack of a better phrase, playing crystal bowls. It's this beautiful sound that just kind of resonates throughout, not just your body, but throughout the room. And it really kind of adds to a sense of calm. And what some of these vibrations and sounds are doing is they're connecting with the vibrations and sounds of your brain waves. And just kind of, they're speaking to like each one and just helping it to just kind of relax, So try that. Aromatherapy. Aromatherapy is a good thing too, but I will warn you, if you have pets, be careful, whether it's with a diffuser or with an essential oil, okay? Because that stuff can get into the air, it can soak into your furniture, and it may not end up well for your pet. So just, check the labels, be careful. If, I mean, I burn incense, but I don't burn it when my pets are when my fur babies are in the room. But just be careful with it, okay? And that's the same with the essential sprays and all that. Just try not to use them around your pets. If it gets on the floor, make sure the floor is dry before they walk through, even on your carpet, all right? Had a bad incident with that, so because I did not know, and now I've done my homework, so just be very, very careful, okay? And you can probably even Google which ones are okay to have around your pets. But like I said, if you use diffusers or essential oil sprays or whatnot, just be careful. But they also make jewelry, which has like the black, you'll see like a black stone. It's lava stone. And you can actually drop those in there and it will diffuse all day. But they make diffusing jewelry for everybody across the board. So, or they have the ones with the sticks that go inside of the the oil, and they just kind of diffuse through the sticks. So just, like I said, if you have fur babies, do your homework. If you don't, go across the board. You have freedom, okay? You have freedom to choose whatever aromatherapy you like. Sometimes I find for myself that even just opening the bottle and smelling it, just having that one scent waft out is delightful. This one is one of my favorites. It smells like morning to me, and I believe it's called Dawn, or I can't remember. But it's kind of rubbed off since then. But it does. It smells like fresh morning laundry. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it smells so good, and it's very calming. Use your hands. Use your hands. I started using my hands for self-care by creating jewelry and stuff, and it helped me get my anxiety under control. Like I've mentioned in past perspectives, I am not used to having anxiety, so when it hits, it's kind of a foreign feeling for me. And I found a way to get out of my head was to create things. And so there's jewelry, there's pottery, there's painting, drawing, sketching, writing, flower arranging. There's so many different types of art, expressions of art, that you can use your hands with. So if you have the ability to use your hands, just find something that strikes you and create. I found jewelry making completely by accident. I never knew it was in my wheelhouse, but apparently when my mother passed away, the spirit of her creativity popped into my face and my head. And even scrapbooking, right? For those of you who like to scrapbook or make little things that are like scrapbooks with the pictures. My mom and I made like an accordion thing once at a class she asked me to go to with her, and it was kind of neat. And when I say an accordion thing, it was just like, every other one, like you could stand it up, but it was like a little book, but like a picture frame at the same time. So and again, baby sibling put me onto Pinterest, and it has been a game changer for a lot of different things. So if you're not sure, go to Pinterest, and there's usually step-by-step stuff, or they can show you and you can Google it and get the step-by-step thing. YouTube has a million things. There are so many different things that you can do, so many different crafts, and like I said, artistic expressions that you can use if you have the ability to use your hands, okay? And if you don't, and you know how to do things with other appendages, do it. I saw a YouTube tutorial. This one girl has no arms, and her makeup, fraggles, seriously, I was trying not to swear there, and she uses her feet because she adjusted, she adapted. So whatever you can do, use it, because a lot of times that can help you get out of your own head. All right, and dance like no one's watching. I do. I like to dance when no one is literally watching, but yeah, I there's still some insecurities in me that struggle with that. But you know what? I love to dance. I do. It's just, don't worry. I think my big problem is I worry about what other people think, but don't worry about what other people think. It's another artistic form of art. It's an expression of you just feeling, right? I mean, like sometimes you see these people who do free dance and they just hear the music and they just go. Like limbs are going everywhere, and their bodies are contorting in ways you didn't know your body could do. And be careful with that, because most of those people are trained professionals. But dance is so, it raises, and it's good exercise. It raises your the good vibes inside of you, right? Those happy vibes. And I know your endorphins, that's the word I'm looking for. I mean, case in point, right? You have, so Richard Simmons was very famous in his days for, and everybody used to make fun of him, dancing to the oldies and this and that. But, when you would see interviews with people after, or even people I knew, like my aunts and mom even, that would watch these things, they were so giddy after, because dance is amazing, and so just go out there and do it. It's, even if you're by yourself, right? Even if you're by yourself, it is a very good form of exercise, and it's just very, I don't even know the word. I mean, it's just, there's such a spiritual feeling to it, when you're just kind of letting your body go and not worrying about what anyone else is thinking about you. So, here we go. Self-love lesson number 14. What would your younger self be proud of you for today? Everything. No hesitation there. But remember, when you ask these questions, ask yourself why. So what would your younger self be proud of you for today? As per usual, I'm going to share my thoughts on this to kind of help people prompt and be honest with yourselves when you're answering these questions. But I think she would be proud of who I am in this moment today, who I have grown to be in the last couple of years, especially the last year. And I say that because the last 10 months, I have to say, have been rather harrowing. Not in the sense of life and death, all right? Because I know people think harrowing, and it's like, oh my God, did she almost die? No. But I've been through a lot of tests. I've had to jump a lot of hurdles. I have had to, kind of do my big American football, run down the field, blocking tackles and this, that, and, or avoiding tackles, running around him with the ball, trying to hit the end zone. And it's been a spectacular shit show, but also so amazing, because I look back to where I was a year ago in full panic mode, and just, everything was just happening so fast, it felt like. And I'm not even sure what the panic was about anymore, but I see in just the last, 10 months, or even the last year, how far I've come, and then of course, about 10 months ago, I was dealing with my dad, who ended up in the hospital for just stupid choices. He was, just on the side, so you don't think my dad is like my dad was on a trip and he was doing most of the driving. So he thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to hold off on one of my medications. Well, it turns out this medication is even though it's the simplest one, it is the most important one, really, in his health, because he had a bypass just over a decade ago. And so we found out the hard way, but it landed him in the hospital. And I'm mentioning that because that is when I started the first of the Floof books. Here's the third one. So the first one I started was just called The Feral Floof. And that's what I called my inner child, was my Floof. And I realized that all this time, you're sitting there and you're thinking, how do I get out of my own head? Oh, right, I need to quiet or kill this inner child of mine. But that's actually not what you do. And I've seen people on Twitter in the mental health community I belong to, like, how do I get rid of my inner child? You can't. Your inner child is a part of your soul. And when you really stop and think about it, it is the root of your soul. It is the basis of who you become. And when that inner child is damaged, it can throw everything off. It's like, you're rolling around in a car race, right? And all of a sudden you hit like just a box of nails, and you're sidelined. And then you see all these people passing you. Maybe you had the lead by about 5 miles, and now everybody's passing you, right? And you're just like, great. And then you start to feel bad about yourself. And then you feel like you're falling behind everyone in the crowd, because maybe people your age or somewhere maybe even younger than you are doing things that you thought you would be capable of doing. But when you have trauma, when you have a banged up inner child, it throws things off because you're in survival mode. And I was in survival mode for a very, very long part of my life, and I never realized it. And we don't realize it because we get angry about it, we get sad about it, we get depressed about it, we get anxiety about it, and all we want to do is move away from that feeling because it's so many emotions all at once. When what we don't realize is that that inner child needs to be healed. That tire needs to be healed, right? And I say entire because your inner child is just a part of who you are. But it's part of you that makes this vehicle move. It's a big part of you, this vehicle helping, moving. A car can't move. I mean, a car can't really roll if it only has 3 tires on it, right? It's gonna do some serious damage, and you're gonna limp along. You can even use that metaphor, analogy, whatever you want to call it. But I'll be honest with you, this is all kind of flying out of my mouth and just making sense to me now. But that's where it started, the floof book. And I was panicking, I was worrying, and he got better. And then a couple months go by, and he got COVID. And just that was another trip to the hospital, 3 weeks hanging out with my dad. And I ended up in the second floof book. Believe it or not, that's how much time had passed. I just finished the first one, and then all of a sudden it felt like I was drawn into the second one. Fortunately, when I started the third one, which I actually named, and I just showed you, The Musings of the Domesticated Floof. So see, we went from feral to domesticated. And by that I mean, I think of it as like a feral animal. It takes time to build that trust. It takes time for you to get close to them, for you to be able to show them that they are lovable. And this is what each one of those steps took me through until I got to the end of the floof book and I started doing a countdown to my next birthday, and I thought, I'm done. The floofs are healed. But then it was scary and it was hard because all of these emotions that had just kind of traveled with me like little cans tied to my legs, right? Every time I walked, you can hear them clanking behind your chains, almost like Jacob Marley, right? You're carrying the chains of all this, the weight of these chains all around you. And I got so used to carrying those things, those emotions, that letting them go has been so difficult. And that's not past tense, if you caught that. It's still hard because I am still doing it. I'm still learning how to just drop these chains and trust all the way. See, my inner child has learned how to trust because it trusts me, but now I have to trust me. And if that doesn't make sense to you, it will as you continue on your healing journey, your soul journey, whatever kind of journey you are on. One day it's going to click and you're going to go, oh, I get it now. Because I didn't get it at the beginning. I would hear other people say similar things and it was like, wow, really? What? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it just clicked one day. And maybe that's why I'm talking about, maybe this is why it's perfect that this is on Self-Care Wednesday. Because a huge part of moving through self-love is your self-care. Not just physical self-care, your mental well-being. Whether you have a dinged up mental health or not, it's all about your mental well-being. That's what takes care of everything else. When you're in a good place, you want to be better. You want to do better. When you're not in a good place, the struggle is real. There's a fear factor that's involved in it. If I move in this direction, what if I miss something in that direction? If you move in a certain direction and there's something meant for you on this direction, it will find you. It will move with you until it is ready for it to be found, for you two to run into each other, whatever it is. And you just have to learn to trust that, to go with the flow. And going with the flow can be so fucking hard. Okay? I mean, I know I do try not to swear sometimes, but just because I know not everybody jives with that. But when I do, it's because I'm really putting an emphasis on something, because it felt like that. It was really fucking hard. But it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. It was worth it to come out of the darkness and finally see this light and realize, wow, when I look back, I did all that. You can see that it's a bit of an emotional thing. I'm getting very fidgety. And usually when I get fidgety, it means that I'm having all these little tiny epiphanies in me and going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what am I going to do now? But I can feel this battle within me And well, not even a battle, more like a mediation thing going on within me saying, it's going to be okay. And that's what we have to do. We have to remind ourselves that even in the darkest moments, even in the hardest times, we have to remember it is going to be okay. If you are still breathing, this is not the end. If you are still waking up every morning, this is not the end. It means that there is still time to do whatever it is that you need to do and that you want to do with your life. So if I were to ask myself today, what would your younger self be proud of you for today? I would say that. The fact that I never gave up on myself on this journey. And why? Because I wanted to so many times. I wanted to quit. I wanted to throw in the towel and say, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. I have had many times where the last time that was so bad, I literally threw myself on my bed. And I was trying to actually make my bed at the time, so that was an adventure. You ever tried making your bed when you're just in all kinds of weird hysterics and crying and angry and just mad at everything around you and wanting to die, literally wanting to die? And that was just in March. Like I think the end of March, maybe early April. It wasn't that long ago. It was the last time I had a thought that the world would be better off without me. And that was really kind of the end of the 2.0 floof book. And older sibling she was worried. She was so worried. But she gave me space. And I don't know if she meant to or if she just felt that instinct. Because in that moment, I felt so alone. And there was another person in the house. Sibling was downstairs. I could have called people, but somehow something clicked in me because I went through that Floof 1.0 book, because I was almost done with the Floof 2.0 book. Something clicked in me as I finally just laid down on the bed. And I think in a strange metaphor of sorts, we all know how hard it is to fix a bed. You know, with the fitted sheets that, you know, sometimes if you don't tuck it right, it comes up and then you're just like, I mean, you feel like the cartoon, right? Where you feel like you just got four limbs that you wish grew so you could just do whatever it is you're doing to put these stupid things underneath the corners. And now that I think about it, it was probably, maybe subconsciously I understood it. It was the perfect metaphor for what I was going through. Things are going to happen. It's not always going to be easy. My bed is actually pushed, because of the shape of my room, I have a full-size bed, but it's pushed up against the wall. So I can only fix it from one side, which means I have to sit on my bed or, you know, kneel on my bed to get the other corners in. But then I realized that's the struggle we go through in life. I'm literally realizing this right now. That was the metaphor. That was the lesson. And maybe I didn't consciously understand it then, but when I finally calmed down and I laid on my bed, I just cried. I just cried and I realized I just got myself through something that other people had gotten me through before. That other, you know, people like divine intervention had stepped in other times when I had had these bad near-death thoughts. And I wasn't going to do it because I made a promise after I lost my friend to not do something like that. But for me, I guess I realize now that I pulled myself through. And so I know that if this happens again and there is no one around, that I can do that. I have that strength now. And I have to say that it's very quite possible, or quite possibly, or very possible, that it was my inner child that got me through that. Saying, Shelly Marie, it's going to be okay. We have dealt with so much worse in our lives, and yet, you know, we've had so much confusion and so much pain and trauma and all this stuff that, you know, whatever your trauma is, if you were on a healing journey, don't quit. Because one day you might be asked this question: what would your younger self be proud of you for today? And it could be your achievements. You know, if you haven't had trauma, maybe it's your achievements in college, and be grateful for that. Be proud of yourself because you did that too. Even if you didn't go to college or you quit or whatever it is that you did and you feel like you need redemption for, you are still here. And every day there's time to make your younger self proud. You know, don't worry about what other people around you are doing. Everybody's on their own path and their own journey. Just worry about the road you're on. Worry about your journey, because that's the one that matters. Everybody has a different purpose. You know, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of times when, you know, my family around me were doing all these amazing things, all these great things, and I just felt like, you know, I kept quitting on myself, and in a way I was, because I didn't believe in myself. And my parents believed in me, and, you know, they taught me to be confident, they taught me to feel good about myself, but there was so much other stuff that they didn't know about that was just weighing me down, that was just kind of just anchoring me. And I was stuck on the island of overthinking, right in the center of the sea of misery, right? It's been a long time since we talked about that, isn't it? But I was persistent, and I found my way through the wall of waves, and now I'm in the ocean of bliss. And it's not always blissful, right? There's still lots of ocean out there to explore, and it's not always going to be easy. There will be storms. But when you get to a place where I feel I'm at now, and you get to a place of good, solid healing, good, solid self-care and self-love, which I am still working on. My foundations of self-love are pretty firm, but they're not solidified yet. Learning self-care and keeping my mental balance good is still a work in progress. It's always going to be a work in progress for me. It's going to be because I have a dinged up mental health. You know, so that's always going to be something that is constantly changing and something that I'm going to have to constantly keep up with. But when it comes to my self-love, I am building that foundation. I am building that house now. And the more we go through these lessons, the more I start to see my own progress. And that's what I want for all of you. That's what I want for you to see and for you to, you know, experience, because you deserve that. Okay, so one last time, what would your younger self be proud of you for today, and why? Now you have my answer and you have my why. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow for Things to Think on Thursday. Self-love lesson number 15. We're going to be halfway through after tomorrow. All right, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Facebook Live. It is public. Anybody can watch. You can find it under Shelly Marie Lucas, or if you want to just watch the replay, I do upload them to YouTube after under the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas, or I do have a Facebook page, The Aloha Perspective, and it does go there as well. If you follow me on Twitter under Shellbell's Quest, which is my mental health page, or GoalieFan1973, which is my Just Me page, I also upload them there. And I do a short version of this, just a minute-long TikTok that goes onto Instagram as well. So there's all my plugs, right? All the social medias. But again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your self-care. And really learn to grow that self-love. Heal the inner child if it needs to be healed. Nurture it, you know, have fun with it. Because that inner child, it goes right along with that dance card. Dance like nobody's watching. Your inner child wants to do that. All right, so have a great, great day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.